Hey, what's up guys, me, myself, and Daquan, and today we are back with Scarlet Witch versus Zatanna. So, Scarlet Witch is Marvel, and Zatanna is DC. Pretty much I grew up with both these characters. I watched Scarlet Witch from, the animated cartoons, the two X-Men shows, mainly X-Men Evolution, but that Scarlet Witch had blue powers instead of red, but it was still her. And I watched Zatanna from something. I'm kind of blanking right now, but yeah, I'm pretty much a fan of both of these characters. They both in like my top 10 characters all the time, like favorite superheroes from different DC and Marvel, So this is hard. Zatanna pretty much she said spells backwards, and it happens pretty much, So at one point in the movie she said Superman I think freeze, but she said it backwards, and then he froze, and he was like midway about to punch the mess out of Batman. So yeah, safe to say she's powerful, like she can stop Superman mid-air. And Scarlet Witch, she can bend reality to her will. I think she'll get more powerful in Doctor Strange too. So on paper, sadly, I think Scarlet Witch is going to win. I love both. I'm team both, but my prediction, Scarlet Witch is going to win in this. So I don't want to see them fight, but let's get on with it. This is gonna be an interesting battle. So this is kind of like Harley Quinn and Jinx, like all over again, like root for both kind of, but team Scarlet Witch, I guess. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, turn bell to not post, so comment down below. Follow me on my other social medias, and also follow me on my other channels, YouTube channels. I'll link all of that down below. And let's begin with this death battle.
This episode is sponsored by The Northman and BetterHelp.
Okay. I love how that looks.
The Scarlet Witch, Marvel's Crimson Queen of Chaos.
Zatanna,
Yes.
DC's magnificent mistress of magic.
There are those who
Yes.
wield the mystic arts like gods to reshape creation to their whims.
And there are those who just like to put on a hell of a show. Either way, don't mess with them if you know what's good for you. He's
Nah,
wearing
she's more powerful than that.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
This is gonna be hard to watch.
Though we may drift day by day in a world seemingly concrete and eternal, the fabric of reality is in fact more delicate than we might dare to wonder. Imagine every single iota of it, every star, galaxy, universe, all within the grasp of a single mortal woman, to control at her whim. Imagine the danger we're all in if you
Yes, I
piss
love
her
that
off.
cartoon.
We
I
don't
love it
have
so
to,
much.
because her name is Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch. As a kid, she and her brother Pietro were poor Romani, who were lucky enough to be turned into super-powered freaks by the High Evolutionary.
Unable to control her apparently new magical abilities, it wasn't long before Wanda lost control and was branded a witch.
Until who would show up but the mutant master of magnetism himself, Magneto. Definitely giving off some big dad energy there.
I actually hope they make
to
it
return
where
Magneto's kindness,
you
she
know,
and Pietro joined his Brotherhood of Evil.
their father is Magneto.
Great
I don't know
name there, Magneto.
how
Solid branding.
they can do
And
it,
it
but
wasn't long before she
maybe she
traded her
bends
supervillain
reality
cred for a
and change her
membership
father.
with the Avengers,
I'm like,
which
I don't know.
might have been a bit too much for poor Wanda because she definitely drew the superpower short stick.
By waving her hands, Wanda could create small random events known as hexes, subtly altering the probability of any event happening.
That's a cool way of saying she could do like one magic-y thing per fight and then be totally useless. An energy blast here, some telekinesis there, a force field if she's feeling frisky. Not exactly the same oomph as, say, the God of
The fact she
Thunder
got
or the
so
Jolly
much more
Green
powerful
Worldbreaker.
since,
But
the Age of Ultron
strange
is
was happening.
crazy.
Over time, her hexes increased in breadth
You can
and
see how the
power,
more
as if
matter
there was
she gets,
more to
the more
Wanda's
powerful
powers
she
than
gets.
met the eye. She learned to slow and stop time, drain and absorb energy, duplicate herself and others, teleport to different dimensions, and even strip others of their powers entirely.
It was almost as if there was more to Wanda than just being some random science experiment. Let's ask our resident expert on the deepest trenches of character history. Jocelyn, if you will.
In reality, Wanda's powers weren't entirely the result of the High Evolutionary,
Okay, so
nor
I've never
was
seen
she
her
a mutant
before.
daughter of Magneto, as he's claimed. Her powers weren't just some simple hexes. She might as well have been a god. Until now, she had merely been dipping her toes into the vast ocean known as chaos magic. Though her powers may have seemed to be the byproduct of science, they were in reality the gift of the Lovecraftian elder god Cthon, who attempted to turn Wanda into his future vessel.
Reminds me of my summers by the sea with old Uncle Yogg-Sothoth.
In time, Wanda discovered she could alter the probability
I also
of
love
anything she could think of,
like
turning a
WandaVision.
mathematical impossibility
A lot of
into an
people didn't.
absolute certainty, and
Like, I
vice
loved it,
versa. Wanda's powers kept growing and growing, turning her into a being strong enough to rival even the mightiest of gods. Like, literally, Wanda's chaos magic is counterpart to the Phoenix Force, the embodiment of cosmic order. You know, that fiery space chicken that can destroy the universe? Wanda fought it, and even briefly erased it from existence.
At her height, the Scarlet Witch achieved total control over energy,
See, I told people
weather,
that
the
Scarlet Witch
elements,
can
your
low-key go
mind, your
like
body,
toe-to-toe with
your
Dark
soul,
Phoenix.
all of time, all of
I'm not
matter,
sure if she can
and
fully
all
win,
of reality.
but like
she
on,
can
you know,
wipe
like,
you from existence
like
with
fighter,
a thought
but
and rend the
I definitely think
fabric
Scarlet
of
Witch
the
can
universe
hold on.
as though it were tissue paper.
She isn't even limited to chaos magic either. They might not have been what made her a god, but the High Evolutionary's experiments did make her more receptive to channeling magical energy. Oh, maybe that's why Mama Boomstick always warned me about redheads.
She's so receptive, in fact, that Wanda is the lone nexus being of the 616 reality, a focal point for the universe's magical energies, and one that belongs equally to all other timelines.
It's no wonder she was considered a candidate for Sorcerer Supreme. I mean, shit, why wasn't she? She might as well be a walking, talking Infinity Gauntlet.
Well, she may have the power of a god, but she's still stuck with a human's body that can be overpowered by physically stronger foes. Though, she also survived being shot with a black matter bullet capable of, and I quote, world-shattering energy. So there's that.
She does technically need to be able to think of a spell in order to get it to happen, so she could theoretically be blitzed. But she's also blocked Thor's galaxy-crossing hammer, kept up with dudes like X-Man who can fight within plank time, and even amp her own speed beyond the concept of speed herself.
Despite being far and away the mightiest among Earth's mightiest heroes, Wanda resented the pressure of her incredible power. She actually wanted a quiet life as a wife and a mother.
But because no one in comics is allowed to have a happily ever after, that life was taken from her by literal Satan. Not the last time he'd do this, too. Wanda snapped, and she took the multiverse with her.
By tapping into an inconceivable and unknowable pool of energy known as the Life Force, Wanda rewrote all of reality, creating a new universe where life was just how she wanted it.
No matter whose lives she had to change, in this House of M, she had her family back, but at the cost of her sanity.
And it wasn't long before it all came crashing down around her. Once her family and friends discovered the lie of their new lives and turned against her, she uttered 3 fateful words and erased nearly all of mutant kind.
Oh my gosh.
No more mutants.
Wanda weaves
hopefully
her
they
magic
do this in a
all
like live
of
action.
existence,
Like
creating
that would be
cracks across
insane.
reality, which spread throughout the
But I think she needs to. I think
all
X-Men
of
need to be
creation,
brought
the
into it
entirety
first.
of Marvel's
Then
infinite
that can happen.
cosmology. Everything that ever was.
Shit got dark, and while Wanda has worked to keep her powers in check since then, that threat is always there. But honestly, that sounds more like a problem for anyone who's stupid enough to get in her way.
Both a blessing and a curse, a help and a hex. Such is the true power of the Scarlet Witch.
Okay.
This episode of Death Battle is sponsored by The Northman.
Remind me why you need to be holding a god-slaying axe to watch a movie trailer.
Weapons of cosmic destruction center me, Wiz. And this movie's gonna be so friggin' awesome, I needed something to match the occasion.
From visionary director Robert Eggers comes The Northman,
So this is a movie.
action-packed epic with a legendary cast of stars at the peak of their craft, including Alexander Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman, Anya Taylor-Joy, Willem Dafoe, Ethan Hawke, and Bjork.
Willem Dafoe and Bjork
Okay.
speaking threatening prophecies in my dreams happens like every Tuesday night for me, so this is definitely my kind of flick.
It's an action-packed epic that follows a young Viking prince on a quest to avenge his father.
Like a Viking version of
I never
Hamlet, but
seen
this
like a
prince is very
Viking
much
movie,
in the
kind of.
not-to-be
I think I
camp
seen
when it
one
comes
when I
to
was
the poor
in
souls
school.
that decide to cross him. See, Wiz,
But
it really is Shakespearean.
ever since
Man,
then,
that was
like,
so cool.
You can see
no.
the care and research in every frame.
So I
It might be
probably
the most
don't
authentic
watch
Viking film of all time.
That.
The action,
Well, at least
the
in the
adventure,
theaters, at
that
least.
slick cinematography. I gotta
But
see
the
this
cast
on
looks
the
good,
big
so I'll probably
screen
watch
right
it,
now.
you know,
Go
like
see The Northman
on digital and stuff.
exclusively in theaters April 22nd. That'll grow back, right?
Yes,
Come
Zatanna.
one, come all, to see the magnificent Zatanna Zatara. For never was there a greater professor of prestidigital performance.
AKA magic! Except Zatanna spells aren't just smoke and mirrors, they're the real deal, so you're really getting your money's worth.
She learned everything
Yeah.
she knew from her father, Giovanni Zatara, who put his powers to good use as one of DC's very first superheroes.
No joke, he's the guy who taught Batman everything he knows about escape artistry. He debuted the same issue as Superman, and the young Zatanna was more than happy to serve as his assistant, learning everything he knew about the cutthroat world of entertainment. Oh, and cape shit too, but the former is way worse.
She inherited her father's incredible
I loved her in,
abilities as well.
the first Injustice
Essentially,
game.
anything Zatanna thinks
Like,
of,
she was my
she
main.
can make
Her
real.
and
she focuses
Raven
this
and
absurdly
Catwoman.
powerful ability by speaking
Harley
her
Quinn,
desired
too.
effect backwards. Her father based this
And
technique on the
Nightwing.
diaries of Leonardo da Vinci, who some theorize wrote backwards in order to hide his ideas from the repressive medieval Catholic Church.
Or because he was left-handed.
Yeah, that's another theory. If you hate fun.
And Zatanna's apparently big-brained enough that she has no problem speaking backwards at the drop of a hat. Like when this one dude kept reversing time
Yeah.
in the middle of her sentences. She started speaking in palindromes so that she'd still be speaking backwards no matter what. I mean, you know what they say, Wiz? Go hang a salami. I'm a lasagna hog.
With her magic, Zatanna has bent the laws of reality to her whims. She's transmuted
Yes.
matter on an atomic level, teleported across dimensions, commanded the elements, turned invisible, removed powers, cast illusions, read and controlled minds, traveled through and stopped time, and can even wipe people from existence with a single word.
It might not seem obvious from that hokey magic castle getup, but Zatanna is one of the most powerful sorcerers in DC. Like the time she battled
Yeah.
the Time Tailor Zor, an old enemy of the Spectre. You know, the angel of God's
It's gonna be
divine
hard,
wrath.
because I
In
don't...
order to defeat an opponent
I
of
don't
such unimaginable
know.
power,
I still think
Zatanna
Scarlet Witch
focused
gonna
her
win,
magical might into
but
shattering the boundaries
I think it's
of
gonna be a good
reality.
fight.
She reached out beyond the very comic panels themselves and pulled Zor's entire magical universe down
I like her
around
outfit
it.
right there.
She
It
literally
gives me, like,
handled
Black-
all of reality
Black
like it was
Canary.
a sheet of
I love it.
paper and crumpled it in her hands.
That might seem
Wow.
completely incomprehensibly impossible to us, but it's all a matter of belief. Literally. As long as Zatanna believes she can do something with her magic, she'll do it.
As she puts it, her magic is essentially asserting one reality, then replacing it with another. This is similar to other magical characters like Dr. Fate and Green Lantern, whose powers have been stated to work the exact same way.
But it's not like any rando can do magic by wishing
yeah,
on a
hers-
star.
yeah, hers
Zatanna is
different.
genetically predisposed to this kind of magical reality warping. Her mom was in actuality a homo magi, a subrace of humans that are naturally adept at magic.
So it's no wonder that Zatanna became an invaluable member of both the Justice League of America and Justice League Dark. The
Yes.
Shadow the Hedgehog version, basically.
Zatanna harnessed an entire year's worth of sunlight
I think I
into a
like her
single
on
energy
Justice
block,
League Dark
created
more.
ruptures across all of space and
I
time
think
throughout
they
DC
fit
multiverse,
her,
and
kind
has
of. That makes
even
sense.
claimed she's
I
as
don't know.
powerful as Superman himself. Pre-Crisis Superman, in case you were wondering.
I
her
believe
only
that.
limit is
I
her
believe it.
imagination and will. In fact, her backward speaking is mostly a stagecraft tradition meant to boost her concentration.
In a pinch, she can cast a spell with a single thought, and I doubt anyone's winning a quick draw with her. She's
Ah, yeah,
met
right there.
superheroes
Yeah.
like Martian Manhunter, who scanned every mind on Earth in a blank instant. Or how about Dr. Fate, whose magic traveled across the universe at the completely immeasurable velocity of God?
Zatanna has fended off countless reality-shattering threats like the Eldritch Upside-Down Man, Primordial Darkness,
Defeated
Evil
Zora
Incarnate, and the
Lobo.
Void Beyond Creation,
Okay.
Pralaya.
Like a Lobo,
Shadow
isn't he?
Goop
Yeah.
Lady ate all of DC
Somehow
Comics,
puts up a
all of
costume.
creation, everything. Gods, demons, rabbits,
Cover the moon
spandex,
in the ocean.
everything. And Zatanna's magic was strong enough to
Yeah,
hold
she
her back.
powerful.
And
This
then,
is gonna be a good
after
battle.
secretly implanting Swamp Thing inside Prolaya, she weaved a spell within him to literally regrow all of reality back in seconds.
Zatanna
Oh.
tricked a being older than God and then blew her ass up from the inside with a whole new omniverse. Abraca goddamn Dabra.
Such is the almighty power of Zatanna's will. Should it fall
See, the DC
though, or
need
should
to
her focus
get
be
on,
disrupted,
you know,
it could all
Zatanna.
come crashing down.
And then
like
making a
house
movie,
of
I think.
cards. Belief is
But I
a
need
fragile
to
thing after all,
hurry up,
and
you
her
know.
powers were weakened
Because I
for
think
a
she
time
can be
after
like
she
the
lost belief
DC
in
Scarlet
herself.
Witch, you know?
And she's definitely got one big weak point. She's a huge daddy's girl.
Despite her amazing career, she
Yes,
has struggled
yeah.
within herself to live up to her father's legacy, especially after his heroic death.
And this MFer has died a lot of times. So Z's therapy can't be cheap, especially after dating John Constantine. Oh, I can just
Yeah,
smell the
on DC
locker
characters,
and
they die all the
self-loathing
time
from
and
here.
they come back to life.
No, wait,
Sometimes
that's
Marvel
me.
too.
Questionable romance aside, Zatanna is a consummate professional raised on one singular principle. The show must go on, and she'll always finish strong with a standing ovation.
Oh, this is gonna be hard.
This show
This
is
gonna be
sponsored by
hard.
BetterHelp Online Therapy.
Relationships are hard and confusing. A lot of us will drop anything to go help someone we care about.
We'll go out of our way to treat other people well, but how often do we do the same for ourselves?
This month, BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to take care of your most important relationship, the one you have with yourself.
Whether you're hitting the gym, making time for your haircut, or even trying therapy, you are your greatest asset. So invest the time and effort into yourself like you do for other people.
BetterHelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to.
It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours.
Give it a try and see why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp Online Therapy.
As this show is sponsored by BetterHelp, Death Battle viewers can get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/deathbattle.
That's BetterHelp.com/deathbattle.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
All right, the combatants are set. We've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Okay, so what do you guys think? I think I'm team Scarlet Witch. I'm team both, but Scarlet Witch.
Thank you. And for my first trick...
Okay, so this is animation, okay.
Ta-da!
You, what sort of two-bit sorceress do you think you are?
Two-bit?
Perhaps I was being generous.
Oh, okay.
All part of the show, folks.
Bunnies?
Huh?
Oh. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
I'd say this calls for an ascension.
I love Hawk, but there's no way that he being Superman, right? Oh.
Do you know
Thor
the
and Hulk,
difference between you and I?
Depends on what Thor we're talking about.
Power!
Well, I think the difference is... presentation! And I know a trick when I see one.
Okay. Wait. Okay, this is cool. This is cool.
You never
You can't run forever. Now make like a magician and disappear!
Oh. Is those different, like, universes that, you know, like they're just throwing them killing everybody in them.
A disappearing act was the first thing Dad ever taught me. And
Yeah, she's a problem.
No more witches.
No, there's no way. Like, it ends like that. There's no way.
That's our show, ladies and germs.
That's a magic trick that's to die for.
Analyzing this matchup was like walking on a tightrope. It could fall either way at any point.
Because at the end of the day, both these ladies could do basically anything with their magic. All they had to do was think and shit would happen. They were totally even. At her peak, Wanda was able to
battle could have been
stability
better,
of all
though,
creation.
you know?
And at Zatanna's best, she was able to hold back Prolaya, who could do the exact same thing. And despite some differences, the omniversal cosmologies of Marvel and DC Comics are roughly equivalent in size and scope. All that was left for us to look at was their weaknesses.
While both were as powerful as one another, Wanda needed to tap into the life force to reach that pinnacle, and doing so threatened her sanity.
Let's take a closer look at the events surrounding House of M, where Wanda's powers were at their
Man,
maximum.
Despite admitting that she was way stronger,
so far I'm gonna lose a
managed to
streak.
get the best of
I
Wanda
lost
with a cool
Harley
head and
the
a
Harley
spell
Quinn
that
versus
briefly knocked her out
Jinx,
cold.
and now I lost
His
this
wits
one.
against her mental instability
Yeah,
were
I got
enough
to pick it
turn
up.
the tide.
I got to pick it up.
To be clear, this instability definitely wouldn't affect her power. She was still strong enough to create a completely new alternate reality and then erase it just as easily. What it would do is leave her open.
Also, take her No More Mutant spell. As insanely powerful as it was to affect the whole of Marvel's creation, it wasn't entirely successful. There was still a tiny portion of Earth's mutant population left unaffected, likely due to interference from Strange and Emma Frost.
Against Zatanna, who was just as strong and not losing her mind, she wouldn't be able to afford that kind of left, even for an instant.
On the other hand, Zatanna has managed to maintain her willpower fighting foes just as strong as the Scarlet Witch, so she didn't have the same kind of exploitable weakness.
And remember, she doesn't actually need to say her
Zatanna,
spells
you know
backwards.
It helps with her concentration, but all her spells come from her mental
Zatanna
influence,
is a
just
beast,
like Wanda.
and Scarlet Witch, so it's kind of like one hand to lose,
spells
I
in the
guess.
past, even against beings as strong as Prolaya.
I just didn't expect that, and also I didn't read the comics, so
fighting smart and keeping on her toes to hang with Wanda
hey,
long
now I
enough
know.
to get
Now I
in a
know.
finishing blow.
While there were definitely versions of this battle that could have ended with Wanda victorious, Zatanna's cooler head and effortless magic allowed her to prevail.
I guess you could say Wanda never saw it coming, and Zatanna Maxim offed her.
The winner is Zatanna.
You know what? Good job. You know what? I'm okay with that loss. I'm okay with it, cause you know they both is very powerful. Like their powers kind of different, so it's kind of even hard to put them against each other. I just didn't know Zatanna was that powerful, you know. Like I knew she was powerful, even powerful enough to stop Superman, but I didn't know she was more powerful to kill Scarlet Witch, you know. But she did it, you know. Zatanna won, and yeah, you know, I said I was Team Scarlet. I accept defeat. Kind of wish I would just say Team both, but you know what? No, like each one I have to pick somebody, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna lose the streak. Lost 2 in a row. So we gotta pick it up. We have to. Let me know down below who you guys had. With Team Scarlet Witch, Team Zatanna. Did you think that Zatanna deserved to win? Me personally, I guess I don't care since I love both of them. So yeah, I'm kind of Team both, even though for the video I said Team Scarlet. So yeah, that's kind of about it though. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, turn the bell when I post, comment down below. Follow me on my other social medias and my other YouTube channels. Leave all the link down below. And that's about it. Peace.